Episode 56 GD July 16, 2023. Building a clean residential energy heating system, as an alternative to indoor residential wood burning. Biden is beating China on chips. It may not be enough. https://www.newyorktimes.com/2023/07/16/opinion/biden-china-ai-chips-trade.html. July 16, 2023. The ground on which a competition with China is taking place is chip making. But what if advanced semiconductors are not one of the critical fronts in the contest? Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity and relationship to residents against wood emission particulates. The woodcutter is one of the players, and the fox is the other player. Play so the fox wins. The Biden administration extended a Trump-era practice of placing Chinese tech companies on trade blacklists. The White House then declared supercomputing chips all but off-limits to Chinese companies, saying that they advance China's military modernization and human rights abuses. It diplomatically engaged with the Netherlands and Japan to jointly deny advanced chip-making equipment to China. Now the White House is considering creating an investment screening mechanism that could block American investments in China's semiconductor companies that could advance AI. Most recently, the Biden administration is reportedly considering a further tightening of AI chip sales to China. China is now dealing with major stresses as chip makers start to lose access to leading production tools. Chinese consumers are still waiting for broadly available homegrown alternatives. America's actions are driven by the assumption, articulated by the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, that computing chips are a force multiplier technology, staking it as critical to continued U.S. leadership. China's leadership, which recently issued regulations demanding that AI chatbots must promote socialist core values Chinese companies have built in the next era of automotive technologies, particularly in car batteries. It's not just cars. Industry estimates put Chinese companies at owning around 80% of the supply chain for solar manufacturing. Chinese electronics makers have produced a rising share of the components in Apple's iPhone. And increasingly in less glamorous products such as industrial machinery and basic household equipment, Chinese brands are joining European and Japanese competitors in the world's top league tables. The passage of the Inflation Reduction Act will help build up domestic production capacity in solar and in car batteries. America is still enormously dependent on Chinese goods, with a goods trade deficit with China in 2022 that was the second highest on record. Rozep View, this opinion writer for the New York Times, argues consistently for getting out of the U.S.'s climate crisis by putting money into building. This is what the opinion writer calls supply-side progressivism, or a liberalism that builds. Many of the problems American liberalism is trying to solve today depend on building much more of something and doing so at breakneck speed. Clean energy capacity, electric vehicle chargers, homes, semiconductor factories, mass transit, transmission lines. But liberalism is not building at the pace needed to solve any of these challenges. And some of the worst examples of government struggling to build are in the bluest of locales: high-speed rail in California, the Big Dig in Boston, the 2nd Avenue subway line in New York, housing in basically every major city you can think of. To solve the problems we face, liberals need to build more and build faster. The opinion writer says he has been criticized by the left and the right for his position that building will solve or slow the climate change problem. From the left, Reihan Salam, the president of the conservative Manhattan Institute. The leftist critique is that a liberalism that builds might be desirable, but it is politically impossible. Modern liberalism, Salam writes, isn't a set of policy ideas meant to achieve discrete ends, but a political formula, a set of commitments aimed at binding together a diverse democratic coalition. To him, the main players are unionized public employees and affluent metropolitan liberals. Unions want the government to employ more labor at higher prices, and metropolitan liberals want low taxes and exclusionary zoning, and these demands are non-negotiable. There is always the hope of a policy with no losers, or at least no losers we like. But no policy at the scale and speed of decarbonization can fulfill those hopes. In their paper The Green's Dilemma, J.B. Rule and James Salzman, professors of environmental law at Vanderbilt and UCLA, put this vividly. Consider that the largest solar facility currently online in the U.S. is capable of generating 585 megawatts, they write. To meet even a middle-road renewable energy scenario would require bringing online 2 new 400 megawatt solar power facilities, each taking up at least 2,000 acres online every week for the next 30 years. Or take transmission lines. The maximum transition line infrastructure installed in 1 year was 4,100 miles in 2010. We're going to need to double that, and do it year after year after year. I asked Robinson Meyer, the executive editor of Heatmap, a news organization tracking the pace of decarbonization, whether we had the capacity to build that infrastructure, at that speed, under the laws and processes we have now. No, we do not, he said. We absolutely do not. And so here is a trade-off that we cannot deny. To decarbonize will require liberals to make a series of choices that radically change the way we build. To refuse to make those choices is to make a different kind of choice. It is to choose the problems of a more rapidly warming world over the problems that will come, and there is no doubt that there will be problems if we build fast enough to do what we have promised. Reading Dayan Put, the opinion writer, in mind of a paper by Michael Gerard, the founder of the Sabin Center for Climate Change Law at Columbia, A Time for Triage. In it, Gerard argues that rather than climate denial, the environmental community has trade-off denial. We don't recognize that it's too late to preserve everything we consider precious, and to linger in making decisions. From the right, David Dayen, the executive editor of the liberal American Prospect. The rightist critique is that building is already plenty easy and making it yet easier would be politically ruinous. New York, New York City. https://www.newyorktimes.com/2023/07/16/opinion/climate-change-biden-building-investment.html. 2 theories of what I'm getting wrong. New York Times, opinion piece. July 16, 2023. America must rebuild itself to survive. 2 smart writers have written thoughtful pieces, one from the right, one from the left, explaining where I've gone terribly wrong. Excerpts edited by Rozep for brevity and clarity and relationship to residents against wood emission particulates. The woodcutter is one of the players, and the fox is the other player. Play so the fox wins. 2. The leftist Sama, the main players are unionized public employees and affluent metropolitan liberals. Unions want the government to employ more labor at higher prices, and metropolitan liberals want low taxes and exclusionary zoning, and these demands are non-negotiable. Which brings me to Dayan's critique, which starts in a very different place than Salam's. He begins by noting that the United States went from importing liquefied natural gas to being a dominant exporter of it in less than a decade. What you cannot say is that this industry is the product of a country that has forgotten how to build, he writes. A mix of national policy, willing financing, and economic and political power easily overcame whatever lethargy is judged to be endemic to the U.S. system. To Dayan, the rise of natural gas reveals that when an industry has sufficient political might as the fossil fuel industry does, it can achieve remarkable feats of construction. What's needed, then, is not a liberalism that builds, but a liberalism that builds power. The way to do that is subsidies and mandates and standards and review processes that cut unions and environmental groups and community organizers in on all this building. But there are too many differences between natural gas and nationwide decarbonization or housing construction for the analogy to serve the purpose Dayan wants it to serve. Housing, for instance, needs to be built in residential areas. The infrastructure for exporting natural gas largely does not. The politics are radically different. There is an omission in Dayan's argument. In focusing on how power can be gained, he is ignoring the very real way in which it can be lost. Power is lost when projects fail, and it is lost by the very interest groups Dayan wants to defend. Plenty of countries with stronger unions than America complete transit projects more rapidly and more affordably than we do. But one of the major challenges of pro-labor politics in the United States is the public perception that unions often slow construction rather than making it better, and that perception is rooted in real failures of real projects in places where liberals and unions hold real power. United States. Canadian wildfire smoke is back. How will air quality be affected? USA Today. USA Today. Alerts are triggered by a number of factors, including the detection of fine particle pollution known as PM 2.5, which can irritate the lungs. United States, Midwest. Canada wildfire smoke targets air quality in Midwest, Great Lakes. What to know this week? USA Today. While the National Weather Service predicts the smoke should wane by Monday, Avoid adding to air pollution by wood burning, lawn mowing. California, Yosemite. Yosemite's peak of fire spreads, with air quality rated unhealthy for sensitive groups. Yahoo News. National, WDRB.com. WDRB.com. Air Quality Action Day for high levels of fine particles PM 2.5, particulate matter smaller than 2.5 microns in the atmosphere May. Illinois, Chicago. Air quality alert in effect as Canadian wildfire smoke again moves toward Illinois. ABC 7 Chicago. The wildfire smoke brings a toxic brew of microscopic contaminants known as particulate matter 2.5. Wearing N95 or KN95 masks can help filter. Illinois, Chicago. Chicago air quality, more Canadian wildfires send plume of unhealthy smoke into the U.S. yet again. ABC 7 Chicago. Or PM 2.5, that can get into the lungs and bloodstream once inhaled. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau eulogized the firefighter on Twitter. Indiana. Air Quality Action Day extended through Monday, WBIW. By Y. IDEM is forecasting high levels of fine particles, PM 2.5, in the air for Sunday and Monday, July 16-17, in the following regions. Indiana. IDEM issues statewide Air Quality Action Day for Sunday due to Canadian wildfires, WKVI. WKVI. PM 2.5 is composed of microscopic dust, soot, and liquid that settles deep into the lungs and cannot be easily exhaled. Kansas. A new outbreak of Canadian wildfires is sending a plume of unhealthy smoke into the U.S. yet again. CAKE. Or PM 2.5, that can get into the lungs and bloodstream once inhaled. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau eulogized the firefighter on Maine. Replacing your home heating oil, Part 2 of our starter guide, The Maine Monitor. The Maine Monitor. Some wood-burning systems don't need electricity, making them a resilient backup option for power outages. Some vendors see heat pumps and a wood or. Michigan. Returning wildfire smoke triggers air quality alerts for all of Michigan on Sunday. Odyssey. Odyssey. Fine particles produced when wood and other organic materials burn, such as outdoor burning, and use of residential wood-burning devices. Michigan. Wildfire smoke triggers air quality alerts for all of MI. Odyssey. Odyssey. Wildfire smoke consists of a mixture of gases and fine particles produced when wood and other organic materials burn, the EPA stated. Michigan. Michigan under statewide air quality alert on Sunday due to Canadian wildfire smoke. Click on Detroit. The smoke is expected to make Michigan's air quality mostly moderate, PM 2.5, which is unhealthy for sensitive groups. Michigan, Detroit. Wildfire smoke triggers Michigan-wide air quality alert, the Detroit News. The Detroit News. Reducing or eliminating activities that contribute to air pollution, such as outdoor burning and use of residential wood-burning devices was also. Michigan, Detroit. Air quality alert extended through Monday as wildfire smoke crosses Michigan. The Detroit News. Reducing or eliminating activities that contribute to air pollution, such as outdoor burning and use of residential wood-burning devices was also. Michigan, Lapeer County. Air quality alert issued for Lapeer County on Sunday. The county press, Me Home Paper. Such as outdoor burning and use of residential wood-burning devices. Keep windows closed overnight to prevent smoke from getting indoors and, Lapeer County, it's back. Wildfire smoke originating from West and Central Canada is expected to move in from the northwest Saturday night into Rosep View. Fortunately for police, the Gilgo Beach killer did not check where he disposed of his pizza box. New York, New York City, Manhattan. https://www.newyorktimes.com/2023/07/16/New York Region/Rex-Hoyerman-Gilgo-Beach-Killings.html. In Gilgo Beach Killings, an arrest bears out a decade-old prediction. In 2011, experts made a list of characteristics they predicted the suspect would have. The man charged in 3 of the killings checks many of those boxes. North Carolina, Greenville. Several states face unhealthy air conditions as smoke from Canadian wildfires returns. WNCT. Smoke from Canadian wildfires is again impacting multiple states, reducing air quality and prompting warnings from health experts. Vermont. Jim Hurt, reinvent power plants and farms for jobs and climate. VT Digger. VT Digger. Then, thanks to new chemistry, CO2 gas from burning hemp biofuels in For each ton of wood burned, only 1/4 of the heat becomes watts. Europe. Net zero, an outcome without a process. The European Conservative. The European Conservative. Clark also treats wood burning and the use of trees as a means of. Wood is a good carbon sink, so we do not burn our own trees, we let them. Asia, South Asia. South Asia's main sources of polluting particulate matter identified. Mining.com. Mining.com. Coal power generation, wood burning, motor vehicles and other combustion sources are behind the large amounts of PM2.5 in South Asia. Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, see https://rawscpresidents.wordpress.com and click on the nearest right icon for the latest month, July 2023, of PDFs of articles with URLs to search on. To the right of that, stickers to hand out for RAWSUP https://rawcp-sticker-templates-get-your-2 cents in games such as 1. Bingo for RAWSUP, 2. Crosswords for RAWSUP, 3. End Wood Smoke Jeopardy! 4. End Wood Smoke Monopoly Games, 5. A RAWSUP Flyer, 6. The Untwist It Game, and 7. Vending Machines for PM2.5 Monitors, and icon links to 30-minute YouTube videos and Spotify podcasts as well as podcasts on Amazon Music Prime, free for Prime subscribers, podcasts.google.com, CastBox, and Pocket Cast. Pocket Cast is only free on the phone app. Pocket Cast works on Apple phones, and, below those icons, icon links to monthly PDFs of articles with URLs to search on, from June 2023 to May 2022.